Okay, so I've just finished Season 1 of Arcane, the latest endeavour from Riot Games to further expand the League of Legends universe. I wasn't really sure what I was going to think going into this one, but my god, you've got to believe the hype. What's been created here is nothing short of a visual masterpiece, supported by a cast of interesting characters and an incredibly rich and detailed universe. Ugh. All these positive comments are making me feel a bit sick, but I will carry on so you can get the scope of this thing. I will talk a little bit about the characters, but I'll be keeping this review spoiler free. The first thing I will say is that no prior knowledge about the world or the characters of League of Legends is required to understand or enjoy this. Even though many of the main characters are champions that appear in League of Legends, the writing does an excellent job of introducing you not just to the characters but the world around them. Think of it as the exact opposite of the Witcher series, at least in that regard. Don't get me wrong, I thought it was a good series, but I just felt bad for anyone watching who hadn't played The Witcher. Point is, you can toss a coin to the writers of Arcane for making something that leaves plenty of nods to existing League of Legends junkies, while at the same time pulling in an entirely new audience without alienating them, or making them feel like they have to scramble to find a YouTube video on League of Legends lore. Season 1 follows a few main characters, but the lead is Vi and her sister Powder. The story starts with the characters as children, but the timeline does progress as you follow their story. The other main part of the story follows a scientist, Jace, and his assistant Victor, who are on the verge of a scientific breakthrough. These stories begin separately and inevitably interlink as the story unfolds. Most of the characters are excellently voiced acted, but this is best demonstrated by the character of Silco, who serves as the series antagonist. Voiced by Jason Spizak? Yeah, sorry Jason, I'm not sure. Anyway, here's a picture. Anyway, Jason S smashes it out of the park with his performance, and some of the best lines and moments in Season 1 revolve around this character. As an on-again and off-again League of Legends player who's familiar with the main characters, I had a pretty good idea of the general direction the story was going to take, but it was the execution of these story beats that had me on the edge of my seat by the end of episode 3. Having said that, the curse of the prequel is that anyone familiar with the original knows who will survive and knows who could potentially die. Inescapably, Arcane does suffer from this to some degree. This, however, is a minor complaint, and now I'd like to talk about the action sequences and the visuals in general. Not to flex, but I watched this on my big fat OLED TV, and I've got to be honest, watching this show completely justifies that unnecessary purchase. The last animated program I was this impressed with from a visual standpoint was Into the Spider-Verse, and while this might be subject to opinion, I would say Arcane surpasses Spider-Verse in the visual department.
How dare you!
The gloomy, dark backgrounds contrasted by the luminescent glow of some magical entity keep your eyes glued to the screen. Normally while watching a series, I like to get a bit of script writing or some emails out of the way, but attempting to do anything other than just watch this show is an exercise in futility. The action sequences too are beautifully animated, and they don't hold back on the blood or the swearing either. It would have been easy to hold back on the violence and cut the naughty words in order to appeal to a wider audience, but I'm so glad they went for the more gritty, more adult approach. The last thing I'll touch on before I go is the music. Not all the tracks were exactly to my taste, but they fit the tone perfectly. Many of the action sequences are paired with an explosive track, and it's this kind of shit that makes the hairs on your arms stand up. In conclusion, Arcane is simply one of the best animated shows I've ever seen. Not only that, but it might be one of the best first seasons of anything I've ever seen. Normally on this channel, I like to shit on things and have a good rant, but I'm not able to do that this time, so I apologise. I can't recommend Arcane enough. Just go watch it. Thanks for watching to the end. Like and subscribe if you want to see some more stuff. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm in the mood for a game of League of Legends. For some reason.